Hello, welcome to the California Pauper Community channel. My name is Josh. I will be your host for this evening. Um, Other nicknames for me might include Big Papa Pump, Chocolate Thunder, Brown Dynamite, or the 750th melon in the game behind Anderson Paak, Anthony Fantano, and the lovely and classic Cantaloupe. We are going to be talking about Ravnica Legion spoilers, more honestly, more intuitively about the common spoilers because this is the California Pauper Community channel. Um, this is going to be hopefully a weekly episode, bi-weekly if our schedule gets a little rough. Since this is the first episode, I tried to do something more relevant to a lot of you guys out there, trying to get into the Pauper format, or people who want to know how to get their started into the Pauper format, and people who are already established. In the next few weeks, I'd like to get comments from you guys, seeing if you guys want me to look back on older sets like Khans Tarkir, Mirrodin, Lorwyn, a lot of cards from Pauper format staples from Lorwyn. But yeah, no. We'll look at that when the time comes. The next episode, actually, that I want to do is a Guilds of Ravnica set review, and talk about the cards in guilds that I think deserve a little bit of spot in the limelight. But let's take a look at these common cards. I went to Scryfall. Scryfall is awesome, and I just did the full spoilers. Full spoilers went out yesterday, so I wanted to take a little time to digest every single card. First up, Act of Treason, classic card, very classic card. You can't go wrong with Act of Treason. Playable and limited, not so playable in the Pauper format because unless it's a sideboard card against Black Red Reanimator, where you act the treason there, Ulamog's Crusher and they Annihilator 2 and you deal 8 to them, it's not really that impressive. And most of those Black Red Reanimator decks already run Dragon's Breath, so the Ulamog's Crusher will most likely already have haste. So that's the thing. It's a good card, not good Pauper. Aeromunculus. It is a colorless, a green, and a blue. It is a homunculus mutant. The mutants in the set have been pretty insane. They've had this really, really, really awesome subtypes creatures. Favorite one is Prime Speaker Vanifar, which is an elf ooze wizard. Elf ooze wizard. Also, it has to be, what was that mythic? No, was it a mythic or a rare? Yes. The new Hydroid Beast. It is, where is it? All I know is it was a jellyfish Hydroid Beast. I think that was the subtype for the one that is kind of like a Sphinx's Revelation, but for Simic instead of Azorius. And it's stapled onto a big, thick, flexible creature. But I digress. Aeromunculus, a colorless, a blue, green, homunculus mutant. It's a 2/3 flyer. 2/3 flyer with Adapt 1. So 2 colorless, blue, green, Adapt 1. If this creature has no +1/+1 counters on it, put a +1/+1 counter on it. Not a big fan. Not a big fan. A lot of the hesitation for me comes from the fact that it doesn't compete with Delver Secrets right away. Delver is very, very awesome. It's a standard for flyers. Turn 1, Delver Secrets, turn 2 Insectual Aberration is like almost every format's dream start. um, the fact that it can become a 3/4 is really really good. 3/4 flyer is just a really big but in terms of the format, but same time it's a 7 mana. It's a 7 mana um, investment to get there, and I think there's a lot of better things you can do with your mana. I do think that this can have some potential in the format, but there's a lot of really good flyers that already aren't seeing play because they're not as aggressively costed as Delver Secrets, or as for white. In terms of white, why am I blanking out on the name? Core Skyfisher. Core Skyfisher is leaps and bounds better because it's built in a way that can play off a turn one Thraben Inspector, or a 0 mana or a synergy with a Prophetic Prism, which lets it bounce it back into your hand. You can play the Prophetic Prism again to draw another card. Um, that's the kind of flexibility and the kind of gameplay that we're looking for in terms of Pauper, and this just doesn't do it. It's a good card though. Really, really good in limited. I would say mid pick in limited. Applied Biomancy. Blue and a green. Instant. Choose one or both. Target creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Or return target creature to its owner's hand. It's Vapor Snag. It's unsummon. Or it's a +1/+1 pump. Not a big fan. It's not even a really, really good limited card. It's a medium pick. Bounce effects, I am not very impressed unless they're stapled onto creatures. Oh, better yet, there's also Arrester's Admonition, 2 colorless and blue. Instant, return target creature to its owner's hand. Addendum, if you cast a spell during your main phase, you can draw a card. These two kind of fit in the same coin in terms of bounce. They're both instants. They both have potential upsides. Because Applied Biomancy is so flexible, and Arrester's Admonition is so can replace itself. But like I said, bounce effects don't impress me unless they're really, really aggressively costed, like Vapor Snag, or they're stapled onto creatures. Ether Adept, Manamore. There's the 5 mana wizard that we just had on Dominaria. Not a very big fan. There's a lot of really good bounces, bounce effects that are 2 or less, or can get you another sort of value. There's a bounce spell at common. It's 3 colorless in the blue. You can return a creature and a land to its owner's hand. I'm blanking on its names, but those there's also those are the types of cards that I feel need to see a lot more play, but don't because of their cost. There's also Repulse, which already does bounce such a creature, draw a card without the addendum part that's in Arrester's Admonition that doesn't already see play. So, not a good card. Mid to late pick and limited, in my opinion, for both of these. Next up, Arrester's Zeal. 1 white. Cool. Target creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn. Addendum. If you cast a spell during your main phase, that creature gains flying. It's a pump spell. I would say late pick in limited. Okay. Axebane Beast. 3 colorless in the green. 3/4 Beast. Alright, time to talk about the gates. I don't want to talk about every single gate. We want to clump them up together. Flavor-wise, the gates are hitting it. They are perfect. They are pristine. But we have been spoiled from the gain lands from the Khans of Tarkir block. The gain lands, Bloodfell Caves, Tranquil Cove, Thornwood Falls. The gain lands are enters the battlefield tapped, gives you the gun two different colors, but they also gain you a life. Those kind of take higher priority than the guild gates. There's also Ash Barrens, which lets you play a colorless land, or you can cycle it to thin out your deck to get a land into your hand. We also have Evolving Wilds and Terramorphic Expanses. I personally think that. Oh, we also even have the bounce lands, the Simic Chamber, or the the bounce lands, the Karoo lands. So I personally think that the guild gates are not good. They're flavorful, but they're not good in Pauper. Alright, next up we have Azorius Knight Arbiter. So we have 3 colorless, a blue, and a white. So it's a human knight, it's vigilance, can't be blocked, and it's a 2/5. So 5 mana, vigilance, can't be blocked, 2/5. Pass. Just pass. Ooh, time to talk about the lockets. The lockets. I wish these could see more play. I thoroughly do, but even though they draw you 2 cards in the very end, they're just not that good. They're not that good. They're better than the banners from the Constant Tarkir block as well. Banners give you 3 colorless, 3 colors, but in order for you to activate them, you need to pump all 3 colorless, tap it, sacrifice it, and then draw a card. These you only have to put 2 types of mana in, but it's 4 of those 2 types of mana. The only way I could see this seeing play is in Tron builds, but Tron builds already have so many good draw spells that they rely on that I don't think these just do it. Plus the fact that you need colored mana to pump into them in order for you to draw those to activate the abilities. A lot of my experience playing Tron, you already struggle with colored mana as is. So I don't think it's that good. Just bad. Just hard pass. Alright. Blade Brand. It is a colorless, a black, instant. Target creature gains death touch until end of turn. Draw a card. Okay. Semi-middle high pick in Limited. It replaces itself. Pauper playable. Not really. Not really. Alright, next card. Blade Juggler. Ooh, I'm excited about this one. It is a 4 colorless, 1 black, human rogue. And it has Spectacle for 2 colorless and a black. You may cast a spell for its Spectacle cost rather than its mana cost if an opponent lost life this turn. When Blade Juggler enters the battlefield, it deals 1 damage to you and you draw a card. It's a 3/2. So, there are so many avenues where we can work with this card. I've been wanting a Rakdos blue, a black-red aggro deck to be viable. I think this is a good first step because you already have access to Phyrexian Rager. You already have access to Dusk Legion Zealot. A lot of those aggro decks have good early creature drops that draw them a card and are just bodies on the floor for them to keep going at it and keep being aggro. The fact that this is a 3 mana 3/2 that draws you a card is pretty darn sweet. I think right now the current build for this would be that Rakdos aggro deck that I was telling you about, or it could definitely be this mono black control deck that I see working. So the mono black control deck, if you guys haven't placed against it, it's the one with the Oubliettes, it's the one with the Sign of Bloods, with Grey Merchant of Asphodel, Gary, as Gary is a finisher. The thing is, this deck has so many 3-drops because of the Phyrexian Ragers, because of the Oubliettes, because of the Chittering Rats. It's going to be really hard to fit this in the deck. I personally think it can You can fit 2 in and cut back on 2 Sign in Bloods. I really really want to tinker with it. So this gets my first. I know. I'm gonna give you guys a little spicy in the rating. Gold star. This is a gold star card. What does gold star mean, Josh? That means that I will build around it sooner or later. We might test this out next week when the set comes out. We might test out in a few weeks once I figure out the right build for it. But this gets my first gold star rating. Alright, so next up we have Bring to Trial. 2 mana, 2 colorless, 1 white, sorcery. Exile target creature with power 4 or greater. Yeah. Good and limited. Sure. Next up, we have Burn Bright. Burn Bright is 2 colorless, 1 red, instant. Creatures you control get +2/+0 until end of turn. Rally the Peasants already sees some fringe play in Boros aggro. The fact that this is a it's a worse version because there's no flashback, but the fact that it's a mono red card can fit mono red trumpet blast that doesn't need you to pump attacking creatures with it. I think it can see some play. There's a possibility, but I don't feel like it's powerful enough for me to build around it. So, a late pick in limited, not really good in Pauper, in my opinion. I may find a home for this. I don't know, but for right now, I'll just do a hard pass. Next up, Burning Tree Vandal. Burning Tree Vandal is 2 colorless, a red. It's a human rogue 2/1. It has Riot. Well, this enters the battlefield with your choice, either +1/+1 counter or haste. Whenever Burning Tree Vandal attacks, you may discard a card. If you do, draw a card. Okay. So, the Rakdos aggro build that I was telling you about, this could definitely see play. But again, the problem here is, it is another 3-drop. I've been seeing a lot of mono red goblin builds floating around. They already played the Valley Dasher from Khans of Tarkir block. They play all the Raging Goblins or the Mog Flunkies. So their curve tops around around the 3 or 2 drop area because they play Reckless Bushwhacker and Goblin Bushwhacker as finishers because they're trying to go wide as fast as possible. And even though this loots, oh no, this doesn't loot. This rummages. The rummages, you discard first, then you draw a card. Looting is you draw a card, then discard a card. Those are 2 different things. Even though this rummages, I don't think it's push enough to see play, but I do see its potential. And surprise, this gets our second gold star rating. Gold stars everywhere. I'm definitely going to build around this. In that mono red aggro, probably. In a Rakdos aggro, most definitely. Alright, next up we have Carrion Imp. 3 colorless and a black. It's 2/3 Imp. Flying, enters the battlefield, you may exile target creature card from a graveyard. If you do, gain 2 life. The 2/3 Imp with flying, 4 mana, that just exiles a card and you gain the life. I'll pass. I'll pass. It's a good limited card, but I'll pass. Catacomb Crocodile. 4 colors, a black. The 3/7. Whoa, this is a lot of flavor text. I haven't been reading the flavor text because we have a lot of comments to go through, but let's read this flavor text. I am the Sewer King, said Rat. I am quick and cunning, and I know every tunnel. No, I am king, said Zombie. I am cold and deadly, and no one can harm me. And no rot can harm me. Then Croc came and ate them both. It's not even a zombie crocodile. So it's just a regular crocodile that eats rats and very, very in touch with the black color pie. It's a good flavor, but bad playability. Next, 4 mana, 1 blue. It's Chillbringer. It's a 3/3 elemental, and it flies. And whenever it enters the battlefield, tap target creature and opponent controls. It doesn't untap during its controller's untap step. So it chills something. Pass. Really, really, really good in limited though. I can see this being a really good finisher. So good in limited, mid to high pick, but I'll pass in Pauper. Next up, we have Civic Stalwart. It's an elephant soldier. Pretty sweet creature type. Civic Stalwart's 3 colorless, 1 white. When Civic Stalwart enters the battlefield, creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. We already see the Angel, the 5 mana Angel in M19, in Pauper Standard play. Yeah, no, there's Pauper Standard formats that pop up in MTG and Magic Arena that we might start playing. I bought a lot of the Pauper staples in MTGO because of this YouTube channel, so we might stick with that for a good bit until they bring out the Pauper events in Magic Arena, in which case we might try this out because this is a pretty sweet card. Redundancy is really key in Pauper, and the fact that it's a 3/3, which is a good body not to be scoffed at, really, that pumps everything. It doesn't say other creatures, it's creatures you control. So it becomes a 4/4 when it enters the battlefield. And if you have a hasty enabler, like the Goblin Motivator, this might see Magic Arena standard Pauper play, and I would love that. But right now in regular Pauper, regular format Pauper, I don't see this seeing a lot of play. It's a good card. It's a good card. Has potential, but I don't see it. Next up, we have Clear to Mind. It's 2 colorless, 1 blue. It's a sorcery. Target player shuffles their library into their graveyard in their library. Draw a card. Target player shuffles their graveyard in the library. Draw a card. This might be a thing. This might be a thing. This might see sideboard play because, truth be told, often not a lot of Pauper decks tend to mill themselves out. Some Pauper decks that's the obviously the game plan, like Tortured Existence. The green black Tortured Existence aims to kind of mill out most of their deck and then hit you with their finishers. Tron, believe it or not, tends to mill themselves out a lot, especially when it's the Tron v Tron matchup or the Tron v Delver matchup. Delver, against the Tron matchup, tends to run out of cards a lot, so they rely on their draws. But if they're able to kind of put their graveyard back into their library late game, they've already played out most of their lands and their creatures. That's just refuels fire to the flame. So I can see this being a sideboard card, maybe a 1 or 2 of. So yeah, this gets another gold star. We'll be tinkering around this in one of our decks. In the sideboard, of course. Maybe in the main board. If the metagame tends to be more long and drawn out, we'll see what's up. Next up, we have Concordia Pegasus. So 1 colorless, 1 blue, 1 white, flying 1/3 Pegasus. It's one of these, isn't it? Pass. All right. So we have Consigned to the Pit next. It's a 5 colorless, 1 black sorcery. Destroy target creature. Consigned to the Pit deals 2 damage to that creature's controller. It's pretty good. High pick and limited. Very high pick and limited. Pretty bad in Pauper. It deals 2 damage to that creature's controller. But next, alright. Next up we have Coral Commando. Pretty sweet name. It's 2 colorless, 1 blue. It's a 3/2 Merfolk Warrior. Aggressively cost. It's an aggressive enough card. It's a 3 mana 3/2. The Merfolk. Next. Alright, so we have Dead Revels. So Dead Revels is 3 mana, 1 black. Sorcery for Spectacle, 1 and a black. Return up to 2 target creatures from your graveyard to your hand. Okay. It would have been nice if it said to the battlefield, but one can dream. Next. Alright, so next up we have Debtor's Transport. Debtor's Transport is a 5 colorless, 1 black creature Thrall. It has Afterlife 2. This keyword is pretty decent. Afterlife in itself. Afterlife is named after the Afterlife card. So Afterlife card used to it was a 2 colorless, 1 white instant, I think. And you destroy target creature, and that creature's controller gets a 1/1 white spirit. Well, this Afterlife effect now is stapled on creatures. When they die, do you get that colorless spirit? So, Afterlife 2, when this creature dies, create 2 1/1 white black spirit creature tokens with flying. That's pretty sweet. Not gonna lie. It's a 5/3, so 6 mana 5/3, which is not very impressive. But you're more likely going to be using this as a sack outlet. There's another Afterlife card that I'm definitely going to be talking about because we're going through the entire set. And I know it's crazy. It's a lot of comments in every single set, but we're going to do it. We're going to do it, and we're going to like it, damn it. But yeah. This is okay. It's a late game pick and limited. I don't see this seeing Pauper play. Next. The face. The face is 1 red mana. Sorcery, destroy target artifact. Choose one. Destroy target artifact, or destroy target creature with defender. At least it's giving us a choice. To be perfectly honest, if we see a lot of defenders in this set, this might be a mid to late pick in limited. But right now, I'll pass on it. Aggressively costed though. Really, really nice. Mono red already plays Smash to Smithereens. That already has 3 damage stapled onto it, so I don't think it's gonna see this replacing it at any time soon. Next up, we have Elite Arrestor. It's a 1 white mana, 0/3. Has 1 colorless, 1 blue. Tap it to tap target creature. I love tappers. Tappers are great. Tappers are great, so great in limited. Now, do I see this thing in Pauper play? No, I don't. Next up, we have Elite Arrestor. High pick and limited. Exposed to Daylight. It's 2 colorless, 1 white. Destroy target Destroy target artifact or enchantment, and you scry 1. Good sideboard card. We already have Disenchant. The difference between 3 mana and 2 mana is kind of key, because Pauper is a very linear game plan. So being even 1 mana, 1 mana more or 1 mana less can make a difference. Do I see this seeing play in any deck? No, because we already have naturalizes stapled on creatures in both white, red, and green. We have naturalizes that have flashback. See Ancient Grudge. So do I see this seeing any play? No. Next up, we have Fairy Duelist. It's 1 colorless, 1 blue. The Fairy Rogue with flash, flying, 1/2. Fairy Duelist enters the battlefield. Target creature an opponent controls gets -2/-0 until end of turn. Um, this is an interesting card. It really is. It makes combat a little difficult for your opponents because in this format we have Spell Stutter Sprite, which is a pretty good counter spell on a stick. Um, the Spell Stutter Sprite decks already play Fairy Miscreants, so this is a 1/2. I wish it was a 2/1, but I think that would have been wishful thinking because that would have been really, really aggressive. And I think this would have been the high pick for the limited format. Um, but if I were to see this seeing, if I could envision this seeing play, it would be in those Fairy Miscreant Spell Stutter Strikes decks. With those decks usually play Ninja Deep Hours to get draws. Those decks do get a lot of draws, like in terms of Ponder and Preordain. I know Pauper has Pauper and Ponder and Preordain. Modern has nothing, and I'm so glad and happy to be playing with those cards. I would give this a gold star. I can see this. I can see me building around this. So we have 3 gold stars so far. So that's pretty good. Let's see if we can get more. Yeah. Fairy Duelist. I can see it having a home. Next up, we have Feral Maka. So 1 colorless, 1 red, creature cat, 2/2. It's a bear. It's a cat bear. It is a very, very angry cat bear. Next up, next up we have Final Payment. It's 1 white, 1 black, instant as an additional cost to cast a spell, pay 5 life, or sacrifice a creature or enchantment. Destroy target creature. I am so happy that this card exists now. For those who are kind of established in the Pauper format, you may have seen a list that has this black-white list that has Night Sky Mimic, Treasure Throll. It has Nip Gullion. You know what? Let's look at this list because I want you to see the glory that is this list. So black, white, Mimic, Pauper. There it is. So the basis around this deck is to get Night Sky Mimic out on the battlefield. Whenever you cast a spell that's both white or black, Night Sky Mimic becomes a 4/4 and gains flying. This card's so busted. Because the deck already has Unmake, which is a really good removal spell as it is. It's 3 mana hybrid of black and white. Exile a creature from the game. This is a common. And it's so good. The deck plays Tide Drinker. Tide Drinker is a lifelinker for black and white 2/1, and it has Extort, which Extort gets there. It really does. And plays Nip Gullion, which is a 1/1 a lifelinker for 1 black or 1 colorless. And really key to this deck is Edge of the Divinity, because as long as that creature is white, it gains +1 and +2. But as long as the creature is black, it gets a +2 and +1. So this is a 1 mana giant growth enchantment for your black and white creatures. So this deck would ultimately have access to another removal spell, and with the afterlife creatures in this format, it would just add so much pain to my opponent's faces when I get rid of their creatures and get more creatures because of it. I'm so happy. This gets a gold star. That makes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 gold stars so far. 5 gold star commons in the first A, B, C, D, E, F, 6 letters in an alphabet. I know. I'm a college student. I'm about to graduate. Can you see my education? I use fingers to count. You know what? Computers are overrated. Gold star! Alright, next up we have Footlight Fiend. It is a colorless Rakdos. Colorless Rakdos. It is a Rakdos colors 1 mana. When Footlight Fiend dies, it deals 1 damage to any target. It's a 1/1. What's the art like? Oh, it's a little demon or devil on a tiny chair. That's someone's feet. Okay, cool. The footlight's broken. Get me a stage hand. Oh, so it's a devil with a candle burning on him. Oh no. That's sad. Unless he likes it, in which case good for him. I don't see this seeing any play. I'll just pass on this one. Next up we have Frenzied Arynx. 2 colorless, 1 red, and 1 green. The cat beast. Cool creature type. Right. It's trample. And it's 4 colorless, 1 red, 1 green. Frenzied Arynx gets +3/+0 until end of turn, and it's a 3/3. That's trample and that's riot, so you can make it a 4/4. The ability is really, really expensive to activate, so I don't see that like seeing play at all. I'll pass. Next up, we have Gateway Plaza. When Gateway Plaza enters the battlefield, sacrifice it unless you pay 1, and you can add it any mana, add 1 mana of any color. Wow, I can English today. The Tron decks already play not Transguild Prominent. The Tron decks already play Shimmering Grotto. Now the Shimmering Grottos is a filter land, and filter lands are good in Tron decks because they don't enter in tapped, and they already provide colorless. And when you have Tron, the Tron decks already play Prophetic Prisms, so you already have a lot of mana. A lot more mana than you know what to deal with. You already have a lot more mana to know what to do with. So with Gateway Plaza, it just sets you back a turn, and you need. With the Tron decks, it's a very linear strategy that needs most of their mana untapped, unless they either gain a life, like the Konzatarkir gain lands, or they can filter it right away. So this isn't gonna see play. It's nice that it's a gate. It's nice that it can tap for any mana, colored mana, but I don't see it seeing any play because you already need lands to get it going. But what if you draw this in your opening hand and nothing else? It's an automatic mulligan. Whereas if you get a Transguild Promenade, if you get a Shimmering Grotto in your opening hand and you have a fairly decent lower curve and you're on a draw, you can keep that hand. That's why I'm not really a big fan of it. Most of the Tron builds already don't play the crew lands, so that's one other big disadvantage to that. Next up, we have Get to the Point. Get to the Point is 3 colorless, 1 black, and 1 red. It's an instant. Destroy target creature, scry 1. Wow, this is a really good limited card. It's instant speed. You get to destroy target creature, and you get to scry. So you're a living dream at that point. High pick and limited. Very, very high pick. I wouldn't even knock anyone for picking this first. Whew. But in terms of Pauper, I'll pass. Gore Clan Wrecker. It's 3 colorless, 1 red. Human warrior with riot and has menace. Oh damn! It's a 4 mana 2/2 that can become a 3/3 with menace. 4 mana 3/3 menace is pretty decent. Somewhat high pick and limited. High to mid. Do I see him playing Pauper? No. Gift of Strength. It's a reprint. Target creature gets +3/+3 and gains reach. It's a nice combat trick. Nice giant growth. A lot of combat tricks. already don't see play unless you're playing Infect or Stompy. And most of those combat tricks are very versatile, or they pump you up enough to the point where you feel comfortable alpha striking. Fighter Burst is one because it's two mana, same mana cost as this, but it gets +5/+5 instead of +3/+3, and that 2 points of damage can matter. So with aggro decks, it's a distinct math. A lot of people are just like, aggro decks are really easy to pilot. In Pauper, they're not, because you have access to so many different combat tricks, and you have access to your opponents have access to a lot of answers as well. So you really have to fine tune your main deck and your sideboard to kind of counteract what people are going to bring against you. A lot of the mono green stompy decks play Flaring Pan because of Moment's Peace. It's why we're not even talking about pumps. We're talking about reactive answers. But that's the thing, is you already have a limited amount of slots in terms of creatures and pump, that a mediocre pump spell will not fly. Unless it either protects your creatures, like Vines of Vastwood, or it's free, like Mutagenic Growth. So, you have the strength, I'll pass. Next up, it's Goblin Gathering. It's 2 colorless, 1 red. Create a number of 1/1 red goblin creatures equal to 2 plus the number of cards named Goblin Gathering in your graveyard. So, when you first cast this, so you get 2 goblins. When you cast this again, if you have another Goblin Gathering in your graveyard and not exiled through some effects like Pachuca Bog or Relic of Progenitus, you get 4. Then again, you get 6, and then again you get 8. That's wishful thinking. It's 3 mana. If this is 2 mana, I can see working with it. But then again, R&D probably made it 3 mana because it was too powerful at 2 mana. So I can kind of see this seeing play. But at the same time, a lot of the mono red goblin decks, which this would fit in, they play 2 power creatures, 3 power creatures by turn 3, but no, by turn 2, because they put down a 2/2 and then a 3/3. They're already, by turn 3, they're already swinging with 5 power, and most of those creatures care if you cast a creature spell, like I think Mog Flunkies cares if you catch a, no, that's the one with that is the one with can't attack alone or block alone. Mono red goblin build Pauper. This is gonna bother me. We don't see it. Oh, Goblin Cohort. This one is a 1 mana 2/2. You can't attack unless you played a creature spell. So a lot of these decks are already creature heavy as it is. They're playing a playset of 3 mana sorceries will just kind of hinder it down. As you can see here, a lot of their curve stops at 2 mana. So this is kind of counterintuitive. Do I see this seeing in a go wide strategy? Maybe. I don't think it's that powerful at 3 mana. If like I said, if it was 2 mana, we'd be talking gas here, but it's not. So we'll give it a hard pass. Next up, we have Grasping Throw. Oh, but Goblin Gathering. If you got like 3 of those or 4 of those in your draft, definitely play it, because that would be so gas and limited. But yeah. Next up, we have Grasping Throw. It's 3 mana, 1 white, 1 black. It's a 3/3 flying throw. When it enters the battlefield, it deals 2 damage to each opponent you have, and you gain 2 life. Now, this would fit into that deck that I was telling you about, the black-white Mimic. But they already have a better version of this deck, of this card. When I know that there was a 4 mana version of this card. That's gonna bother me. Let's go look at this card. Yes, There it is. Blind Hunter. Blind Hunter is from Guild Pack. It's 2 colorless, 1 white and 1 black. It has flying and it has haunt. So haunt is when it dies, you remove it from the game and you haunt a target creature. When that creature dies, the haunt trigger effect happens. So just think of it as kind of like a exiling enchantment on a creature, on another creature. Um, so much like Grasping Thrall, you deal 2 damage to an opponent and you gain 2 life. But this one at 4 mana, even though it's 1 toughness and 1 power less, it does it when it dies and when the creature it haunts dies. So you ultimately get 4 damage and you gain 4 life. As it is, 5 mana is a lot to work with, and it's a lot to ask. And I don't think it's good enough to see Pauper play, even in that deck. I think that deck would be the place for it because you have so many black white triggers due to Night Sky Mimic and Edge of Divinity. But like I said, it's not. I don't think it's worth it. So in limited though, it'd be good mid to late pick. But in Pauper, I'd pass on it. Next up, we have Gravel Hide Goblins. 1 colorless, 1 red. It's a 2-man Goblin Shaman. It has 3 colorless, 1 green. Gravel Hide Goblin gets +2/+2 until end of turn. It's a bad card. It's a late filler card. And limited. Bad card. I'll pass. Grotesque Demise is the next card. It's 2 colorless, 1 black. It's an instant. Exile target creature with power 3 or less. Woo! Hot damn. Hot damn. We had Vanquish the Week and I played the hell out of that in Exile Unlimited, so I'll definitely play this. High pick Unlimited. In Pauper. No. No. Most optimal removal spells are 2 mana or less. Most 3 mana removal spells either has to synergize with your strategy, has to synergize with your deck strategy, or they have to be unconditional in order to see play. Murder doesn't already see play. Unmake in that deck sees play because it triggers Night Sky Mimic. But this, I think it's just bad in Pauper. Alright, next card. Ooh, it's this card. Growth Spiral. Growth Spiral is a blue and a green. It's an instant. You draw a card and you may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. This card looks sweet! I can't tell you, as I'm a Tron player. I know, it's pretty bad. But I'm a Pauper Tron player, and you don't know how many times that you get like flooded with lands in your hand, and you just want to get them out. You just want to poop them out in the battlefield. The fact that it's this instant speed, I already tried to play Explore and Pauper, and I was kind of meh about it. But instant speed draw card is already Think Twice. But Think Twice along, but an instant speed Explorer would just like this is making my dreams come true. I already don't know how I already don't have the words to the kind of I already don't have a thought process to put my thoughts into words because it's 11 o'clock at night and I'm a lame-o who usually goes to sleep at 9. But this card's sweet. This is a gold star card, and I can't wait to play it. I'll play it in Tron. This doesn't do much in other decks, in my opinion. There isn't really good blue-green control deck besides land destruction. Yeah, there's land destruction in Pauper, and it's either in black, green or blue green. There's mono red, but that land destruction is kind of like more Timmy-ish than anything. But I digress. This is a gold star card. I can't wait to play it. It's an instant speed explorer that helps me ramp into my big dumb stuff later on. It's sweet. Next up, we have Hazda Officer. It's 2 colorless, 1 white, and it's a 3/2 human soldier. When it enters the battlefield, creature you control gets +1/+1 until end of turn. It's a good limited card. Good mid to late pick. Would I play in Pauper? Not really. First of all, it's 3 mana. And like I said, good aggro decks usually top off 1 or 2. And if it's 3 mana, there has to be a good effect stapled onto it. And temporarily pumping up something +1/+1 just doesn't do it for me. So I'll pass. Next up, we have Humongulous. It's a homunculus, damned Humongulous. Oh god. bless R&D's heart. It's a 4 colorless, 1 blue. It's hexproof, 2/5. It's a big dumb idiot. It's a big dumb idiot. And most of the Boggles decks in Pauper is green-white. But yeah, it's a big but. I wish it had like 3 or 4 power instead of 2. But I think R&D learned a lesson with the 5 mana horse in M19 that had hexproof. I could see this being really good in limited because it looks like the set has a lot of good enchantments and good pump spells, but I don't think I'll tinker this in Pauper. Maybe I will. Maybe I will for the memes. This might be just a secret gold star, and I'm just like faking. Just faking my unimpressiveness with it. But yeah, we'll see. Next up, we have Ill-Gotten Inheritance. It's 3 colorless, 1 black enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, Ill-Gotten Inheritance deals 1 damage to each opponent, and you gain 1 life. 5 mana, so 1 black. Sacrifice Ill-Gotten Inheritance. It deals 4 damage to target opponent, and you gain 4 life. So it pings someone. It pings each opponent every turn. Woo! Excuse me. Bless the Lord. At the beginning of upkeep, it pings every opponent, and late game you can just sacrifice it to Flame Axe. No, Flame Rift. Each opponent you gain 4 life. I mean, it's cool. It's a bit slow. I'd rather be playing a creature. And limited, if you kind of make a white-black or a blue-black control deck in limited, that could be a thing. I'll pass on this one. Yeah. Next up, we have Impassioned Order. So it's a 1 colorless, 1 white. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 1 life. It's a Soul Warden, but not as good. And 1 more mana. It's a bear. Incremental life advantage is good. In the Orzhov limited decks, I think this would be pretty sweet. Because the afterlife creatures just gain value off of this. I'll pass on it though. Ooh! Imperious Oligarch. It's 1 white, 1 black. Human Cleric 2/1 with Vigilance and Afterlife 1. This is the card I was talking to you about. I want to tinker with this card so bad, and with that 2 mana removal spell that sacrifices the creature we talked about earlier, I think this could be a thing. This definitely deserves a gold star. I want to make this happen. It's 2/1 Vigilance for 2. It's not it's an okay rate. The fact that I can make this happen in the black-white Pauper deck that I was telling you about is really key. In any other deck, though, I think it'd be too much to ask. Who knows? Maybe there could be another black-white There may be another black-white aggro deck that I just can't think of right now. But I digress. Gold star card! Next up, we have Justice's Portal. Justicier's Portal. It's 1 mana, 1 white, instant, exile target creature you control, and return that card under its controller's control against the first strike. Ooh, it's a flicker and that gives something first strike when it enters the battlefield. Huh. I don't know how to feel about this one. There's a lot of neat enter the battlefield triggers in Pauper. If this was around when Peregrine Drake was legal, I've been sick because I know what I would do with it. But the fact that we already have Ghostly Flicker that flickers 2 things, and it's not limited to creatures, and you can flicker lands or artifacts. I think it's really, really awesome limited because you get your ETB triggers right away. In Pauper though, I don't think that's enough. I may be wrong. By the way, I've been rambling on and on. If you think I'm wrong, please leave that in the comments, because I am dying to see what kind of strategies are out there, and I want to tinker with it. But right now, I'm not very impressed. Alright, so next up, we have Knight of Sorrows. Knight of Sorrows is 4 colorless, 1 white. Human Knight 3/3. It can block an additional creature each combat. It's Afterlife 1. At 5 mana, 3/3. Even though it has Afterlife 1, it's just too much. Next, we have Law Mage's Binding. Law Mage's Binding is 1 colorless, 1 white, and 1 blue. For flash, enchant creature. Enchant creature can't attack or block, and its activated abilities can't be activated. It's Rest. It's an Azorius Arrest. It's upside because it has Flash. This is a high pick and limited for sure. I would first pick this anytime. Can it see play in Pauper? Most of the removal that we have is hard removal. An enchantment that kind of sits there isn't usually. Curse of Chains is seeing a little play, but that's the one that taps it. The difference between 2 mana and 3 mana is a lot. Like I said, I don't want to pay 3 mana unless it's a hard removal, so I'll pass on this one for Pauper. But I won't pass this if I open it in my draft box. In my booster pack. Next up is Mammoth Spider. It's a 3/5 reach for 4 colors and 1 green. Alright. Noxious Grudion. It's 2 colorless, 1 black for a 2/2 Death Touch. Pretty good. Pretty nice rate. It's a 2/2 Death Touch for 3 mana. Mid to high pick. It's perfectly playable and limited. I don't see in Pauper though. Next up is Open the Gates. It's 1 green. Search your library for a basic land or gate card. Reveal it and put it in your hand and shuffle your library. It's Laved Land. Laved Land, but with gates too. It's a good card. Laved Land usually doesn't see any play in Pauper. Commune the Gods, Commune with Nature sees play in aggro decks. Lay of Land does not. Land Grant is a better card. Even though it's limited to forests, Land Grant's free. Crop Rotation is the best card. Is one of the best cards in Tron. Even though I only run 1, you only need to run 1. And the fact that it's only limited to basic or lands is definitely much like a detriment to it. Ancient Stirrings is good because you build around it. Lay of Lands to what it's not doesn't do enough for the 1 mana. Now, if it was attuned with Aether, it does a lot. Because that 1 mana and that 2 energy can become anything you want it to be. But there's no energy synergies in Pauper yet. I hope the next time they go to Kaladesh, there will be one. But I digress. Next up, it's Persistent Petitioners. Persistent Petitioners is 1 colorless, 1 blue. Human Advisor 1/3. Tap 1, tap it. Oh, so 1, tap it. Target player puts the top card of their library into the graveyard. Tap 4 untapped advisors you control. Target player puts the top 12 cards of their library into the graveyard. Gold star card. This is a gold star card. Mainly because it's a 2 mana 1/3. 2 mana 1/3 now it has a pretty big butt. And dice to bolt. But at the same time it has a big enough butt that staves off early attackers. The fact that you can... Oh, sorry. I forgot to mention the most important part too. A deck can have any number of cards named Persistent Petitioners. So you can have like 30 Persistent Petitioners and like 24 lands and then 6 spells that help you dig for more Petitioners. I have this idea of this blue-green Persistent Petitioners deck that's just Persistent Petitioners, Distant Melody, and Lead Stampede. For those who don't know, it's Lead Stampede. It's 2 colorless, 1 green. Look at the top 5 cards of your library. Put all creature cards into your hand, and the rest you shuffle in the bottom of your You put in the bottom of your library. And Distant Melody. Distant Melody is 3 colorless, 1 blue. When you cast Distant Melody, name a certain creature type, and you draw cards equal to the number of creatures with that creature type on the battlefield under your control. So it'd be like 30 Persistent Petitioners, 24 lands, a mix of blue and greens, 4 Lead Stampedes, and 2 Distant Melodies, and then that's your deck. So it's a gold star card. I want that deck to be a thing. I'm so excited for next week. Next week's gonna be awesome. Pre-release is gonna be insane. I'm just saying. This is what I live for. This is way much better. This is so much better than Rat Colony, the 2/1 rat that we had 2 sets ago, because it's a 1/3 that even though it doesn't trade up, it doesn't need to. You just need to stave off the onslaught of aggression with just a wall of advisors, and that's all you need. Yeah, gold star card. Next up, we have Plague Rite. Plague Rite's 1 colorless, 1 black, zombie, 2/1. When Plague Rite becomes blocked, each creature you're blocking it becomes gets -1/-1 until end of turn. I'll pass on this one. Next up, Prowling Caracals, 1 colorless, 1 white. It's a cat, 3/1. It's a 3/1. It's one of those random 3/1s every set. It's a 2 mana 3/1. Every set has one. It's a good filler card. Nothing more, nothing less. Not gonna need Pauper play. Not gonna see Pauper play at all. Next up is an instant Prying Eyes. Prying Eyes is a 4 colorless, 2 blue instant. Draw 4 cards and discard 2 cards. Seems pretty good and limited. Pauper already has so many draw spells that is under 3 mana or less, that this just doesn't do it for me. In limited, I can see running 2 of these in the deck, in the blue control deck. Whew. Excuse me, but I don't see this at all seeing play in Pauper. Next up is Quench. One colorless, 1 blue, instant counter target spell unless the controller plays 2 colorless mana. Mini Leak. That's what I've seen in Mythic Spoiler as the official nickname for it. It's not Mini Leak. It's Rune Snag. Rune Snag doesn't see any play. Mana Leak barely sees any play because you already have counterspell in the format. So a lot of the counter spells, unless they're negate or they're spell pierce, they just can't hold a candle to a lot of the good common counter spells. So I'll pass on this one. Next up, Rafter Demon. Rafter Demon's 2 colorless, 1 black, and 1 red. Spectacle, 3 black, 3 colorless, 1 black, and 1 red. When Rafter Demon enters battlefield, if its spectacle cost was paid, each opponent discards a card. So it's a 4/2. Um, so 5 mana, 4/2. Each opponent discards a card. Bad. Bad. I'd feel bad having to pick this mid to high mid pick in draft, let alone playing this in Pauper. Mind Rot, it's 3 mana, you discard 2 cards, that's good. Even though this is stapled on the body, it's a 4/2 body. They couldn't even make this a 4/3. I guess they made it too good, but no, they wouldn't have made it too good. I think it's just a bad card. Next up, Ragefire. It's 1 colorless, 1 red, sorcery. Ragefire deals 3 damage to target creature. It's a good removal card. Good removal card. Mid to high pick and limited. Not gonna see play in Pauper. We already have Lightning Strike. Lightning Strike doesn't even see play. We have Lightning Bolt. We have Chain Lightning. We have Fire Blast. Flame Slash. Flame Slash is one mana, deals 4 damage to target creature. So, yeah. Next, Rakdos Roustabout. So it's 1 colorless, 1 black, and 1 red. For Rakdos Roustabout becomes block. It deals 1 damage to target player or planeswalker it's attacking. It's a 3/2. It's a good aggressive card. I can see this being a crucial key, a crucial filler to Rakdos decks in limited. It will deal damage no matter what, even if it gets killed in combat. Dealing that 1 damage can make a difference. So yeah, it's a good limited card, good mid pick. Not gonna see Pauper play. Ooh. Next, it's Rakdos Trumpeter. Rakdos Trumpeter is 1 colorless, 1 black. Rakdos Trumpeter is a 1/3. That's menace. And for 3 colorless, 1 red, Rakdos Trumpeter gets +2/+0 until end of turn. Pass. This is kind of bad. You'd have this as filler. Yeah, I don't dig this. All right, next up is Rampaging Renthorn. 4 colorless, 1 blue, 1 green for a 4/4 with red. So it just becomes a 5 mana 5/5 or a 4 mana 4/4, a 5 mana 4/4 with haste. It's a good filler card. 5 mana 4/4 with haste is a good rate, or a 5 mana 5/5. It's a good finisher. Good card in limited. Nothing else. Alright, we have the fog of this format at Root Snare. Root Snare is 1 colorless, 1 green. Prevent all combat damage that would be dealt this turn. Okay, next. We already have Moment's Peace. We're good. We're good. Moment's Peace is like the precedent for any fogs. Fog is already the precedent for any fogs, but that doesn't see any play. So, Alright. Rubble Belt Recluse is next. It's 4 colorless, 1 red. Rubble Belt Recluse attacks each combat if able. 6/5. 6/5. So it's a Juggernaut for 5. And it's 6/5 Juggernaut for 5. Sure. Limited play. No Pauper play. Next up is Rubble Belt Runner. It's 1 colorless, 1 red, 1 green. Rubble Belt Runner can't be blocked by creature tokens. It's a 3/3. 3 mana 3/3 is a really good rate. The fact that it can't be blocked by creature tokens means that the Orzhov decks have to deal with them. But 3 mana 3/3, not that good. Unless it has another additional text. It's unless it's haste or it's 1 colorless less. If it was a green and a red for a 3/3 that can be blocked by creature tokens. I can definitely see this being play, but 3 mana 3/3 is just not that impressive to me. Yeah. Next, we have Rebel Reading. The 3 colorless, 1 red. Destroy target land, scry 2. I want them to give us some more 3 mana land destruction spells, but that would be just too much. Sinkhole's kind of in the format. It's really debated whether or not it should be in the format because Sinkhole is printed in common online and not in common in real life. So a lot of play groups that I take a part of, I am a part of, don't consider it as Pauper legal. But I feel that one day they should print Sinkhole as a common. I don't know when that day will come. I don't know if Sinkhole's just busted as a common. It probably is. Actually, it definitely is. This is just wishful thinking. I want Sinkhole to be in the format so bad. We already have Molten Rain, so we have like a whole bunch of land destruction. It's black, green, and red. So might as well add another black land destruction card. I don't think it'll break the format that hard because it's 2 black. It's double black. So I don't know if there's any other home besides the mono black control for it, but who knows. All right, next up is Rebel Slinger. It's 2 colorless, 1 Gruul hybrid. That's 2/3 with reach. 3 mana 2/3 with reach. It's cool and limited, not really playable in Pauper. All right, next we have Sage's Row Savant. It's 1 colorless, 1 blue. When Sage's Row Savant enters the battlefield, scry 2. It's a 2/1. Good value creature. The scry 2 is relevant. I would say the closest thing that I could compare this to is Seagate Oracle. The closest thing I can compare to that it's actually seeing play is Seagate Oracle. So it's 3, and that's Seagate Oracle's 2 colorless, 1 blue. And enters the battlefield, look at the top 2 cards. Put 1 in your hand, put 1 in the on the bottom of your library. Scry 2 is basically drawing a card. So it's stapled onto a 2/1 body, which I can't complain about. But at the same time, is it impressive enough to see you standard play? Not really. Alright, next it's going to be Sagittarius Volley. 2 colorless, 1 green. Destroy target creature with flying. Sagittarius Volley deals 1 damage to each creature with flying in your opponent's control. It's a good sideboard card. Plummet's always good. But yeah, I think this is just sideboard in the limited against the Orzhov decks with all those 1/1 flying spirit tokens. So I'll pass on this one. Next up, we have Cerulean Caretaker. Defender. Tap an untapped creature you control, add 1 mana of any color. So if we had that a red removal spell, so we could kill this. But it needs another body to gain mana. Not going to see play. I'll pass. Alright, next up we have Sauroform Hybrid. Sauroform Hybrid is 1 colorless, 1 green. A 2/2, so it's a bear. With 4 colorless, 1 green, 1 green, adapt 4. The curve filler. The abilities are way too expensive for it to see any Pauper play. Yeah, I'll pass on this one. Alright, next up, we have Savage Smash. 1 colorless, 1 red, 1 green. Target creature you control gains +2/+2 until end of turn. It fights target creature you don't control. The sorcery speed pit fight with a +2/+2 effect on it. It's basically just add epic confrontation. I'll pass on this one. Yeah, I mean it's a good limited if you're in the girl deck, but I really just don't see this seeing any Pauper play at all. All right, so Scorch Mark. Scorch Mark is a 1 colorless, 1 red. Scorch Mark deals 2 damage to target creature. If that creature would die, this turn exile it instead. That's really awesome. Again with the Orzhov hate. It's a really good limited card. I would highly pick this because it's just good removal. It's good classic removal. Next up, we have Scuttlegator. It is a 4 colorless 2 Simic hybrid mana. Crab turtle crocodile. Whew, that is a doozy. It's a defender. It's a 6/6 for 6. Pretty aggressive. Pretty good cost. 6 mana. 2 Simic hybrid manas. Adapt 3. So as long as Scuttlegator has a +1/+1 counter on it, it can attack as though it didn't have defender. Whoa, this is a really hefty card. 6 mana 6/6 is already pretty good, but it can become a 9/9 in your in 2 turns, and if it becomes a 7/7 through a counter, it can become a 7/7 that attacks. It's a pretty good card in limited. Not going to see Pauper play at all though. Yeah. After that, we have Senate Courier. It's 2 colorless, 1 blue, flying. 1 colorless, 1 white. Senate Courier gets vigilance until end of turn. It's a 1/4. 3 mana, 1/4 flyer. Pretty bad. Next, we have Senate Griffin. Senate Griffin's 2 colorless, 2 Azorius hybrid. It's a 3/2 flying Griffin. When it enters the battlefield, scry 1. So 4 mana, 3/2 flyer. It's a pretty good cost. I would say mid to early pick card. 4 mana, 3/2 flyers always have a key place in my heart because blue-white flyers is the first like limited deck that I kind of like revolved around. It's the first archetype in limited I like loved. So plus the scry one's gonna be really key. It's gonna stink at Pauper though. So Alright, after that we have Shimmer of Possibility. It's 1 colorless, 1 blue. Look at the top 4 cards of your library. Put 1 of them into your hand, the rest in the bottom of your library in any order. It's bad Anticipate. Well, it looks 1 deeper in Anticipate. It's bad Impulse, as you say. So yeah, I won't play this. Skipping. Ooh. Yay! Sorry for all the yawning. It's almost 12 o'clock in the midnight. So it's Skewer the Critics. It's 2 colorless, 1 red. For sorcery, Spectacle of 1 red. Skewer the Critics deals 3 damage to any target. Yes! Another lightning bolt in the format. We already have Fiery Temper, and we already have Lightning Bolt. We have Chain Lightning. We have Lava Spike. Mono Red's gonna be so good. It already is so good. But the fact that there could be a turn 3 where I could Lightning Bolt into Needle Drop into Skewer the Critics. The 3 mana deals 7 damage. Oh, 3 mana, deal 7 damage and draw a card. That would be a dream. Plus, it just makes Thermal Alchemist better. Just makes Firebrand Archer better. This makes Curse of the Pierced Heart better. As you can tell, Mono Red's my jam. So, yeah. Gold Star card. Gold Star card. That's like 8 Gold Star cards now. It's a pretty good set. After that, we have a Skitter Eel. It's 3 colorless, 1 blue. Fish Crab. Uh, 3/3 would adapt to for 2 colorless and 1 blue. Um, okay. It's a good curve filler and limited. Nothing more, nothing less. After that, Slime Bind. Slime Bind is a 2-mana enchantment, 1 colorless, 1 blue. It has flash, enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets -4, -0. Blue removal spells usually come in form of enchantments. Um, we had Sea Legs in 2 sets ago. So, this is pretty decent. It's flash. Uh, it Capture Spear was good because it tapped it. Um, so there wasn't much you can do on a said creature, but if it's just 2 mana, try to buff nerf down your creature to where I can attack. This is a good card too. All right, so next up we have Spear Skewer, Spear Spewer, 1 red. It's the Goblin Warrior Defender. It's 0/2, and Spear Spewer deals 1 damage to each player. Each player, not just your opponents. Each. 1 mana. Yeah, this is bad. Next. um, Sphinx's Insights. Sphinx's Insights, 2 colorless, 1 white, 1 blue. Instant speed, draw 2 cards. And Addendum. If you cast a spell during your main phase, you gain 2 life. Limited. This could be a thing. Mid pick, but I wouldn't pick it highly at all. In Pauper, there are so many good Pauper draw cards with less color intensive requirements. So yeah, I can't see this seeing any play at all in Pauper. But in standard, it might be pretty decent, and limited, it might be pretty decent. Who knows? Next up is Spike Wheel Acrobats, 3 colorless, 1 red. Human Rogue for 5/2. And Spectacle for 2 colorless and 1 red. So if you attack the creature or you deal damage this turn, you can cast this for 3 mana instead of 4. And it's a 5/2. 3 mana 5/2 seems pretty awesome. It's way better than a 4 mana 5/2. In terms of playability, this is kind of fragile. It can trade up the most definitely. And at the rate of 3 mana, if you can cast this at 3 mana, you're golden. So, but if you have to cast it for 4, I would be really sad if I had to cast it for 4. So, it is what it is. Limited mid to late pick, but in Pauper, it's not gonna see plain Pauper at all. What's after that? Steeple Creeper. Steeple Creeper's 2 mana, 1 green, 2 colorless, 1 green. Frog Snake. Frog Snake. 4/2. 2 colorless, 1 blue. Steeple Creeper gains flying until end of turn. 3 mana 4/2. Still pretty good. The fact that it can gain evasion. Late game you just need sometimes evasion just gets there. And at the rate of 3 colorless, 1 blue, I would take this mid to late pick. I wouldn't take it early pick though, because you would have, based on the commons that we just looked at, there's so many different options that you have that this shouldn't be your end game. All right, after that it's Stony Strength. Stony Strength is 1 green instant. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. Untap it. Ooh. Yeah, it's a counter, so it's not a pump, but like I would much rather have counters than pumps, to be perfectly honest. And the fact that you can just have this as a combat trick on your opponents during your opponent's turn, in the terms of untapping it, untapping your creature, just making sure that you have that got you card. This is pretty good. I would say mid to. I would just say straight mid pick. You shouldn't go after this. The fact that it's a common, it's pretty cool. Yeah, it's a good limited card. I don't see me making it work in Pauper, but we'll see. After that, it's Storm Strike. Storm Strike is 1 red instant. Second creature gets +1/+0 and gains first strike until end of turn. And has Scry 1. So, yeah. It's pretty decent. Can't say anything more than that. Not gonna play in Pauper, but some pretty late pick. I wouldn't do this late pick. Alright, so next up we have Summary Judgment. Summary Judgment is 1 colorless, 1 white. Summary Judgment deals 3 damage to target tap creature. Addendum, if you cast this spell during your main phase, it deals 5 damage to that creature instead. Good limited pick. Can't see anything wrong with that. Not gonna see you playing Pauper though. Next, we have Sylvan Brushstrider. Sylvan Brushstrider, 2 colorless, 1 green. Sylvan Brushstrider enters the battlefield, you gain 2 life. It's a 3/2. 3 mana, 3/2 that gains 2 life. It's a good curve topper. It's a good curve filler. It's not that impressive. As we see, there's a lot of 3 mana or 4 mana X2s that Scorch Mark is going to be a very high priority pick. So, you see here, this just reaffirms that Scorch Mark is definitely forspicable. So, either way, 3 mana, 3/2 that gains 2 life. Not very impressed, especially not Pauper. Syndicate Messenger. It's 3 colorless, 1 white, flying, afterlife 1. It's 2/3. 4 mana, 2/3 flyer with afterlife 1. So 3 power, 4 toughness scattered around, scattered among 2 bodies. So not gonna see much play. Alright, so 10th District Veteran. 2 colorless, 1 white, vigilance. It's a 2/3. Whenever 10th District Veteran attacks, you untap another target creature you control. We already have Midnight Guard. Midnight Guard is the progenitor of the untap standard. So Midnight Guard, if you don't know, it's a 2 colorless, 1 white, 1/4 creature that untaps whenever another creature enters the battlefield. Now, Midnight Guard Presence of Gone is a combo. So, Midnight Guard Presence Gone Pauper. So this is one of the combo decks that I think is a pretty stable deck. So, Midnight Guard untaps whenever another creature enters the battlefield. But Presence Gone, you can tap that creature to make a warrior. So basically what you do is you attach Presence Gone to Midnight Guard and you just go infinite. Create a whole bunch of 1/1 warrior tokens. So the fact that this needs to attack in order for you to trigger that untap ability just doesn't do it for me. Although whenever I see untap, it makes me happy. So this would be again it's a 2/3 vigilance for 3 that untap something. This is a nice curve filler in limited. I would say mid to, if you want to go that route, mid to early. But I could definitely see this going late, because a lot of people underestimate the power of untapping something. Whether that be mana dorks or whether that be just big beefy creatures that can block on your opponent's turn. Never underestimate the untap ability. Alright, Territorial Boar. So it's 1 colorless, 1 green. It is a 2/2 boar. Whenever a creature with power 4 or greater enters the battlefield under your control, Territorial Boar gets +1/+1 and gains vigilance to end turn. No, so this is a 2/2. The consequence becomes a 3/3 whenever you cast something power 4 or greater. It's a good value. It's a good value. Curve on curve 2/2. It's good early, and late and just gains value from you playing more creatures. So can definitely see this being a late, mid to late pick, an early-ish mid to late pick, because once you get like 4 of those, so if you get 4 of those, you poop them out. Once you cast a, let's say this is the Gruul deck, you cast the Spike Wheel Acrobat, or let's say you're in Sim deck, you can cast the Steeple Creeper. It just gains, this just becomes a big buff creature that constantly becomes just a 2/2 on your turn that can block. That's pretty decent. Alright, next we have a 1 mana creature named Thirsting Shade. It's 1 black, 1/1 lifelink, 2 colorless, 1 black. Thirsting Shade gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Pretty decent. Late pick. I don't see, it's not very impressive in limited and or in Pauper, so I'll pass. Alright, after that we have Thought Collapse. Thought Collapse is 1 colorless, 2 blue mana, counter target spell. Its controller puts the top 3 cards of their library into their battlefield. Woo. It's a good cancel. It's a really good cancel. Better cancel. Milling is something. A counter spell that mills. I don't know if there is a reanimate. I don't think there is a reanimator package in this format, in this limited format. I could look, but I'm kind of too lazy. It's already 12 o'clock in midnight. It's a good card. Would I first pick it in any way? No. Matter of fact, counter spells, you usually get them late pick anyways. Unless they're really, really aggressively costed. Like Quench. I would say Quench I'm going mid pick. For people who are trying to set up that blue-white control deck. But Thought Collapse, you'll see it late game and all limited. Like I said, you counterspell, negate, spell pierce, exclude. We have a whole bunch of good common counter spells in the Pauper format that even on this mills, just doesn't do it for me. After that, we have Titanic Brawl. 1 colorless, 1 green instant. This spell costs 1 colorless less if it targets a creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it. So target creature you control fights target creature you don't control. So this is a strictly better pit fight at instant speed. Woo! Alright. Looks like Epic Confrontation has some serious competitions, because Epic Confrontation usually only sees play in the mono green stompy lists. And mono green stompy lists runs Skargan Pitguard. Skargan Pitguard has Undying as a 1 mana, or it has Bloodthirst. Let's look at the metagame. While we're here, let's take a snapshot of the Pauper metagame. Blue-Black Delver, Red-White Weenie. My favorite decks, Rainbow Tron and Elves. Stompy. So, as you can see, we have Epic Confrontation in the sideboard. Because of the toughness buff, that's why this card is so good. But Skargan Pitguard, it has Bloodthirst, even better. So it comes in with a +1/+1 counter on it. So this could just be 1 mana. Have this fight another creature and kill it, or it could just be a 2 mana instant speed. Have Vault Scourge kill their most important threat in battlefield. The fact that it's instant speed is really, really, really awesome, and the fact that it costs one, it can cost 1 less, makes me really happy. Will I build around it? I really don't think that's worth me building around it, because actually, you know what? Let's leave it for me to decide later on. I know I'm cheating. I've said a whole bunch of gold star stuff, but this may be a secret gold star. Alright, so we have Twilight Panther next. Twilight Panther is a 1 white mana. 1/2. It's a good Raven Inspector stats, but one black. Twilight Panther gains death touch until end of turn. So 1 mana 1/2. It's Squire, gains death touch until end of turn. It's a good curve filler, nothing more. Next, we have Undercity Scavengers. 3 colorless, 1 black. Undercity Scavengers enters the battlefield. You may sacrifice another creature. If you do, put +2 +1/+1 counters on Undercity Scavenger, and then scry 2. Whoa there. Whoa there. This is pretty bananas. Yeah, this is a pretty bananas card. I can see this being like I can see this having 3 of these in your Orzhov limited decks, and just abusing the hell out of this because it just becomes a 4 mana 5/5 that scries you 2. Oh, R&D. Now, there is an Aristocrats deck in the Pauper format. Now, it's based on Carrion Feeder. But this being 4 mana isn't inhibitive of it seeing play. We have a lot of 5 mana and 6 mana cards. Usually those cards have Delve or another redeeming factor, another impacting factor that let them shine through. But I can definitely see making this work, like a 2 or 3 in the main deck. It just becomes a 5/5 that scries you 2. It's pretty impressive. You know what? I'm gonna give it a gold star. Gold star! Gold star standard. Because, just the fact that it can become a 5/5 that scries you 2. And it can trigger some Aristocrat shenanigans in Pauper. It's kind of really cool with me. So we'll see what kind of shenanigans we can come up with this card. Alright. So after that we have Undercity's Embrace. That's 2 colorless, 1 black. Instant. Target opponent sacrifices a creature. If you control a creature with power 4 or greater, you gain 4 life. This is pretty busted. And limited, of course. Pauper, we already have Geth's Verdict. We have Chainer's Edict. We have a whole bunch of stuff. Diabolic Edict, Innocent Blood. It's an instant speed sacrifice. Versus Geth's Verdict is an instant speed sacrifice too, but it's two black. This one's 2 colorless and a black. But like I said, the difference between 3 mana and 2 mana is so big in Pauper. The fact that you can instantly gain 4 life can be a neat thing, but well, like I said before, way before earlier, 3 mana is very much clogged up in the control decks that this card would fit into. So, and if this isn't in a mono black control deck, this wouldn't fit anywhere else. Because like I said earlier, 3 mana you wouldn't just need it to be hard removal. And sacrificing creatures is great, but what if they have multiple, what if they have a really big board state? Chainer's Edict's awesome because it's 2 mana, it's incurable. Recurable. Innocent Blood's great because it's 1 mana. Geth's Verdict's great because it's 2 mana and it's instant speed. 3 mana instant speed that you might gain 4 life out of is not great. After that, we have Viscopa Vampire. It's 2 colorless, 1 hybrid Orzhov. It's 3 mana lifelink. 3 mana 3/1 lifelinker. So, next, we have a Watchful Giant. Watchful Giant's 5 colorless, 1 white. That's a giant soldier. Whenever Watchful Giant enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 white human creature token. It's a 3/6. This is cool. synergy with the flicker that we had earlier. Um, is it playable in Pauper? 6 mana? Hell no. Is it a really cool card? Yeah, pretty decent. Little pass. And lastly, we have Wrecking Beast. Wrecking Beast is 5 colorless, 2 green. Creature beast with 6/6 with Ride and Trample. So it can be a 7 mana 7/7 with Trample, or 7 mana 6/6 Hasty with Trample. This is definitely a curve filler, a curve topper. This is scary because if you see your opponent tapping 7 mana, and putting this down, if you're tapped out, you're just taking 6 to the face. Do I see this placing Pauper play? Hell no. But at the same time, this is a really scary limited card. Because Choo Choo, Wrecking Beast is gonna wreck you. Alright, just to recap, we had 9 Gold Star cards. The set looks to be very attuned to aggressive and mid-range strategies for the limited format. We have, like I said, we had 9 cards to build around, so I'm really excited. Just want to remind you guys that my Instagram is right here, my Facebook group is right here, and my YouTube link is right there below. Thank you so much for watching. I will be coming out with gameplay very soon, and I hope you guys have a great rest of the week. Have fun in Ravnica Legends pre-release, and always remember that power is at common, but it's not always common to be powerful. Ciao.